In this video, I share with you 12 of the most common homeschooling questions asked. Coming up. Hi, I'm Heather and I'm a homeschooling mom of two, and on today's video I am jumping on board with what Angela over at This Gathered Nest has done, and that is the homeschool tag of the 12 most common questions asked to homeschooling moms. So if you're new here, welcome. Go ahead and subscribe if you would like more content just like this. I do day in the life videos for homeschoolers, product reviews like the curriculum and the products that we use in our home, as well as motherhood and homeschooling topics. So if you're new here, let's be friends here on YouTube by hitting that subscribe button and commenting down in the comments below if you have a question while I'm answering these ones, or if you want me to elaborate on anything that I have said here. So again, thank you so much for watching. Let's get into the video. So like I said, Angela over at This Gathered Nest did this video a few years ago, and when I first started researching homeschooling, I didn't really know where to start, and so I just went to YouTube and typed in homeschooling and just started watching a ton of videos. And I so appreciate her opening up with these 12 questions and just giving a little insight into why they chose homeschooling and some of the other questions that that are asked to most homeschooling moms throughout their homeschooling journey. So let's get into it. The first question is, why do you homeschool? Now this is a loaded question, and I'm sure you're wondering, if you're new to homeschooling, why do people choose homeschooling? And just to kind of give you an insight into our family, homeschooling was a heart issue for us. And what I mean by that is my husband and I really wanted to be the #1 influence in our child's lives. We wanted to spend time with them, and we wanted to really get to help them learn. And by going to private school or public school, they would be gone for most of the day. And while that seems like it would be a great idea for our family, we really wanted to make our family a unit and a team and have that be as just part of our everyday family life. And with homeschooling, it just allows us a lot more flexibility, and it just gives us more options. And so for our family, we have chosen to homeschool because we want to affect our kids' hearts. Now that's not to say that if you have a child that's in private school, or you have friends or family that are in private or public school, that you don't care about those same things. I am not saying that. What I'm saying for our family is we've chosen to homeschool, and that is just one of the reasons, and probably the most significant reason why we wanted to homeschool our kids. Number 2, what do your children think about homeschooling? I would say that our kids like homeschooling. I mean, we ask them a lot if they like homeschooling. Now, they do have comparisons. They have friends that are in public school, private school, magnet schools, charter schools. So they do have a lot of reference points as to the different types of schooling that are available. But I think for them, homeschooling is just what our family does, and so they are okay with it. My daughter was in public school, and we were in different public schools because we moved. And so she has had the public school experience, and she much prefers the homeschooling experience because she has a lot more free time. She's able to do a lot more things that she likes to do. So we ask our kids a lot if they like homeschooling, and the answer seems to be unanimously yes. Now, are there times when there are tears and where they don't want to do their schoolwork, or where we have to be a disciplinary parent at the moment? Yes, those things do happen, and I'm sure in those moments they wish they were not at home, but in those moments, that's just part of life. So we get through them, and I think, yeah, they like homeschooling. So number 3, does your extended family support you? I think for the most part, our extended family does support us. We haven't heard anything from anyone if they don't support us, but we make decisions based on our family unit that we are in, and if that is their opinion and they don't support it, we'd be glad to sit down and talk about it, but it's not gonna sway us either way. We've done a lot of research into homeschooling, and we feel that this is the right thing for our kiddos, and so I think that our families are pretty supportive. I mean, they're very much into sending us material about homeschooling, and they do love that they get to see us on off seasons and different things like that. So I think there's a lot of benefits to it, and they seem to support us so far. Now, we are still in the early years of homeschooling, so maybe when we get into the middle school and high school, if we're still doing this as our education way, then maybe there's some disagreement, but for us, we just do what's right for our family at the moment. Question number 4, were you homeschooled? No, my husband and I were not homeschooled. Neither of us were. And to be honest with you, until my oldest was about 5 years old, I was completely against homeschooling. And that truly was because I was so naive to it. I had my own misconceptions about what homeschooling looked like and what type of kids were homeschooled and what type of moms were homeschoolers and what that whole experience looked like. And so up until a few years ago, I was actually against homeschooling, and I will honestly say that that was just because I was not educated on it, and I didn't take the time to have friends that were homeschoolers or anything like that. And so I think now that I am obviously a homeschooler, I much more agree with this type of education style. But that is where we were. Neither of us were homeschooled. Question number 5 is the best advice you've been given. Now, for our family, we have a family motto, and is you do you. And what that means is don't compare yourself to other people. Don't compare your homeschool to other homeschoolers. Don't compare your kids to other kids. You do you, which means that you do the best work that you can do where you are in your stage of life. And so I feel like this is one of the pieces of advice that I give to people that are interested in homeschooling, because it can be really hard to sift through all the information and see all the different styles of homeschooling and all the different homeschoolers and everything that they're doing. And it can just be really hard to figure out your place. So my advice to you is you do you, okay? Number 6, favorite thing about homeschooling. My favorite thing about homeschooling is being with my kids. I love it. I love seeing those light bulb moments. When you have your kids and if you got to experience those, first steps and first words and first solid foods and all those firsts, as a homeschooler, you still get to have all those firsts. And it's just amazing. I know that it's stressful, and I am not the queen of patience. I say all the time that I need to put my patient pants on, because that is not one of my best qualities, but I'm learning so much more that by being with my kids, they are teaching me so much, and I get to see all of those light bulb moments, and I love it. I think it is one of the most rewarding things to do. I'm only gonna have them at home for 18 years, and we're cutting it off at 18, but I don't want to miss any of it. I want all of those 18 years, and I love it. I just love it. Okay, number 7, what is your least favorite thing about homeschooling? My least favorite thing about homeschooling probably is the pressure. I'm it, this is it. I mean, if they, I am choosing their education, and that's a lot of pressure. I did not go to school to be a teacher, so I do not have a background in early childhood education, but I feel very confident in my skills and my abilities to be able to facilitate the education that I am bringing to them. But it can be really scary to know that you're it. It's just you, and that is a lot of pressure. So that's probably my least favorite thing about homeschooling. Number 8, what is your most annoying comment you get? My most annoying comment that I get, and I think this, again, I made this comment, so it's funny to me, but it has to do with socialization. I am not really sure where this whole idea came from, that kids that are homeschooled aren't socialized, but I get it, because I was on the other side of that before, where that's what I thought. That was my number one thing. I mean, you think that these homeschool kids are just, sitting in their house all day, no one sees them, and they don't talk to other kids, and that is definitely not the case. Especially with how common homeschooling is becoming now. There's millions of kids in the US alone that are homeschooled, and so there's so much available for the idea of interacting with other kids. I don't even really like the word socialization, because that's something, when you look at the root of the word, isn't actually what we want our kids to be doing. So I much prefer to say that as a homeschooler, we are interacting with all walks of life, with all ages, and my kids have lots of opportunities to do that. So the most annoying comment probably always is the socialization one, but again, I have grace with people because I was there too. So I don't try and over-educate, but I definitely do allow for the space to be there to inform people about the difference between socialization and interacting. Question number 9 is one thing that has not worked for you. So one thing that's not worked for us is having school at home. And so what I mean by saying that is that trying to replicate the idea of school and kind of how actual public and private school works, having that replicated at home for us does not work. My kids, especially my youngest, is not a child that can sit down for long periods of time, more than 5 minutes. And so trying to replicate the bookwork or the worksheet type education does not work for my kiddos. And so we still get reading, writing, math, language arts, dictation, poetry, Shakespeare, piano. I mean, we are very well rounded in the different subjects that we teach, but we teach them as kind of one fluid piece of, not education, but just kind of more fluid. So it's not necessarily you do this for this, and that has no, your history doesn't have relation to what you're learning in language arts or what you're learning in science or what you're learning in the different fields. So we try and incorporate everything into whatever we're learning. So our history, the literature is based on that, as well as the dictation and the poetry and things like that. So working for us, or what has not worked for us, is trying to replicate school at home. Number 10, what is one thing that has worked for you? One thing that has worked for us is having everyone involved in our homeschool. And we are lucky enough to have my father-in-law with us. And so what has worked so well for us, especially me being a working homeschooling mom, is not putting the pressure all on myself, but to allow others to help in our kids' homeschooling journey. And so what's worked really great is figuring out what our schedule is and then having other people help me teach our kids. I think it's really great for them to have other authorities, as well as it gives me the time and space that I need to pursue my dreams that I have for my career. Number 11, what is your homeschooling style? This is a fun question. We're pretty eclectic. We do tend to go more Charlotte Mason classical style, but we are kind of more eclectic in that sense. We do a lot of nature studies. Everything is rooted in history for our literature, as well as science. And so, I mean, we're just really eclectic. I don't buy a curriculum in a box, like a one kit piece that comes with everything in it for all the subjects. It just doesn't work for our family, but we do pull from different things. So we use the language lessons, first language lessons, and we are starting our next year of school in the Beautiful Feet books history series. And so I'm really excited to share that with you. But we do a lot kind of pulling things together to make it all one fluid learning style. Number 12, does your spouse or partner take part in your homeschool? Yes. We are a 3-adult family, meaning that it's me, my husband, and my father-in-law, and we all three help in teaching the kiddos. I love this because we school mostly, this year we're doing 5 days a week. We school year round, but this year we're doing 5 days a week. And then that's broken up depending on who is teaching on certain days. And my kids know who is the teacher or who is doing the extracurricular activities. But we do have 3 adults in our family that do the homeschooling, and it works for us. So we might be finishing up math at 7 o'clock after dinner with my husband when he gets home from work, or Papa might be the one that's taking them to do science out in nature, or he could be taking them to swimming lessons, or I'm the one that's doing all of the morning Bible work. So it just depends on what the day is and what the schedule is and what works best for our family in the season that we are in. So those are the 12 most common questions that are asked to homeschoolers. Thank you so much for watching. If you've stuck around to the end, thank you for your time. I know that it can be a scary journey if you are just starting out in homeschooling. And so I just want to be here as a support and encouraging mom friend to help you along this journey. So if you have any questions, you can leave them down below in the comments. The other question that I get a lot is what curriculum do we use? And I've made 2 videos about that. I will post those down below. I have all of the curriculum affiliate links. So if you're interested in purchasing any of the curriculum that we use, I have the links for those down below in the description box as well. So thank you so much for watching. You can catch us here as well as over on Instagram for kind of the day in the life pictures and videos. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.